Hey there, this is Aaron from Helmet Nation again. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of video here for you. We get a lot of questions here at Helmet Nation about what the different collectibles are, what they look like, the different types of helmets you can get, what the differences are between them, and why some of them are really expensive and some of them are cheaper, different types of looks and everything. So I thought I would use a couple of examples that we have here that we're going to unbox here in just a second and go through and give you guys a rundown on the different types of collectibles and things that are out there so that you can know. Today we're going to focus mostly on the licensed collectibles, and what I mean by that is the stuff that is produced directly by Rydell for NFL teams and NCAA teams and everything else, and the kind of stuff that Rydell produces and has available for those teams. So this is not going to be about the custom stuff. We're going to do that in another video. I may allude to a few things along that, but that'll be another video I'll probably do that in a week or so to get into your different options and what you could do or get with a custom helmet order and how we bring those to life. So we'll go into a little bit of what's available and then how we make that happen for you so that you can see that process. We've seen a little bit of it. We posted the video last week of me putting together some helmets from a mini helmet order. And so we'll have more of that as well, but I'll go through those kind of information in that next video. Along the way, if you guys see something or you have questions that I don't answer in this video, definitely hit us with your questions after the video, and we'll be happy to answer any of those either in that thread, or we'll do a whole nother video where maybe we just answer questions that we get. And so we'll do a question and answer Q&A video and things of that nature. You can also hit us on social media. You can always, if you have a collection and you want to show it off and have us send it out to our social media, etc., you can hashtag MyHelmetNation and we'll take those pictures and shove them out there and let everybody take a look at them, things like that. We'd love to see your collections, even if it's small. If you have one helmet that you really like, but you got it in a cool spot and it goes with your man cave or your whatever, and you want to show that off, that'd be awesome. If you have a big collection, lots of numbers, lots of different helmets, whether it's mini helmets or full-size helmets or whatever you got, and you want to show that off, you can hashtag us at hashtag MyHelmetNation. We'll always be looking for those. Love to show them off for you. That being said, we're going to jump into this unboxing here. I've got a certain order that I'm going to go through the helmets in my head, so we'll figure out how they're packaged in here as they come out and everything and go through those. So we're going to start with this, and just so for no other reason than I just thought we would use them, these are going to be Washington Commanders helmets. Jaden Daniels was a blast to watch this year, and it was fun to watch that team. I have no allegiances to the Washington Commanders. I just felt like that would be a good choice for this video, so that's the helmets that I have here. And we'll go through those, but all the examples that I've got in here are Washington Commanders. If you have questions about another team or you want to see something along those lines, you can always hit us with a question in the comments, or you can email us at customerservice@helmetnation.com. We can answer your questions there about any specific teams, what you're looking for, things like that. And I may answer some of those questions through the course of this video. So we're going to start off with this right here. This is the mini helmet. We got the mini helmet here in their alternate black look. The mini helmets come packaged just like this in this retail box from Rydell. And so the helmet is in here. These actually work as pretty solid little display cases if you want to just put them up on a shelf, things like that. They can get a little tough if you try to stack. They're not particularly stable. They stack okay, but it helps to put some weight on them to hold them down if you have something like that. Or maybe go two and then a shelf kind of thing, or two or three and then a shelf kind of deal. But you can stack them. I have a fairly extensive mini helmet collection, and sometimes getting the display cases, even the acrylic ones, which we offer on our website, that can get pricey after a while. So having the little retail boxes can be a temporary decent solution. You do lose, you cannot see in the retail boxes, you can't see the back bumper, and so that is not visible. The other thing that I do want to touch on really quick, and I'll do another video on this as well here, maybe 2 weeks from now or so. We'll do this in the next several weeks, is we'll discuss what happened in the collecting space with Schutt. We get a lot of questions on what happened with Schutt. This is a Riddell. All of these are Riddell helmets because that is what is currently available as collectible helmets. Schutt was in the space and left the collectibles space in 2020. So nothing is available from Schutt any further. It was a bummer when that happened. We love our Riddell products, but we also, the Schutt filled some different spaces around what Riddell was doing. So it was unfortunate when they disappeared. But we'll do a video around that in a couple of weeks, try to give you a little bit more background. We don't know a ton in terms of having any kind of inside information, but just the information and the stuff that we picked up over the years is the kind of things that we will relate and give you the information that we have on that. And we'll take you through what Schutt offered and what they had and things of that nature. So getting back to this is a Riddell Speed mini helmet. This is the current platform that Riddell is using, and it's been this way for a while now. When I first got into the business 18 years ago, the Riddell main collectible mini helmet was their model VSR4 mini helmet. It was the rounded shell, it has a ridge down the middle, very well known, and a lot of older collectors really like that helmet. So that it was replaced by the Speed some time ago. There are those who would love to see the Speed Flex become the new mini helmet. Riddell makes those decisions, and my guess, a lot of it is related to the autograph business. So a lot of there's been some expressed frustration with things like the Riddell mini helmets, and because of the vent holes that we'll see here and stuff, making it tough to do larger autographs, etc., or to just be able to go as big as you want on them. So I think one of the reasons that Riddell has not gone to that model is because of pressure from the autograph industry to give the people who would be autographing the helmets as much space as possible, put their signature, etc. So like I said, it comes in this package. The package is opened fairly easily. On the bottom, it's just 4 flaps, and then the helmets come in a tray. So you have the retail box, and then it comes in a tray. Again, it's possible to remove it here. It's held in. There's 2 types of trays you'll run into. There's this cardboard tray, which is all folded, and you can, the easiest thing to do in my mind is just take the flaps on the back here that hold the back end of it, and to pull that up, and then it will slide out because the face mask sits in the tray and it slides in here. So it's stuck there, and then you tuck this little flap, which I don't know if you can see here, but you take this little flap and you tuck it into between the back bumper and the shell, and it holds the helmet in place, and then you close off the sides, and that's how it stays in there. So if you want to remove it to display it, then you can do that, and then you can hold on to this for if you ever decide you want to put them back in, or however it changes, however you want to display it. So as we said, this is a Speed mini helmet. It has the Speed markings in terms of the things you'll recognize a Speed helmet for. This particular triangular kind of area at the front, and then it has the 4 vent holes on the top and the vent holes in the side to the back area, and then of course this ridge here. So as this is a Washington Commanders mini, they do something different with this look. Most teams do not put a decal here on the front unless it's a stripe of some sort going back, but they put their W here, and then they have this part of their logo on the back. You can see this on the full-size helmets. There are certain teams in the NFL mini helmets that do not have any markings on the bumpers. That is not incorrect. That is something done between the NFL and each individual team. Almost all the mini helmets that Riddell produces that are licensed have nothing on the back bumper. We call this the back bumper. Decal places might call it the back name strip. Whatever, there's different names for it. It is a piece of plastic. It replicates what the full-size helmets that are worn on the field have. And you can do fun things with these. We'll get into that more with the custom helmets. We'll explain more things that you can do. We're just doing this today. So the Washington Commanders have worked with Riddell and said, we don't want anything on these bumpers. We also don't want Rydell branding on the chin strap. So none of that is there. And that's the way it's supposed to look. It comes like that. There are other teams that are different because each team has input on that. So some of them will have the Rydell branding on the front bumper or the chin straps. And so that'll be that. Then they chose to go with 00 on the side, and instead of what on the field would be normally a player's number. You can get these. We are working on trying to get these numbers, and then if we can get it all taken care of, we'll add them to our site, and then you could just order your Washington Commanders mini with your favorite player's number on it, and then we would put that on there for you and replace the 00s. That is a possibility. So in any case, and we do that, actually, we have that available for, in the NCAA realm, we have that available, the numbers for the Alabama helmets. That was one of our number one requests, was to put an individual number on the Alabama helmets. We then take an Alabama helmet that comes to us just like this, and we take the number, which I believe is 18 right now in the mini, and we replace that 18 with a player's specific number. And it is the Alabama font and correct size and everything for Alabama. In any case, we have this helmet, and it has the S2BD-SW-SP face mask. That is pretty standard across the models of helmets. So we have that. These are about 5 inches high. There's been some discussion over the years. Some people we call the mini helmets authentic, mostly just because they're the ones that are produced. So we call them authentic. Some people were basing that based on the kind of face mask, because there were metal face masks available on the Schutt. So some people felt that was more authentic, and the plastic face masks produced are considered replica. It's all just sort of terminology depending on what you are comfortable with and want to call it. But we do call the mini helmets authentics when we do those. And then the inside, the interior of the mini helmets, this has the foam padding. It's meant to replicate, of course, the foam padding that goes in the full-size helmets. So there's a big pad, as you can see right here on the forehead area, that extends to the side. You have the ear pads. And then you have a pad at the back that would go right here on your head if you were wearing a helmet like that, and then the pad in the middle up there. Those are all in there. Again, when we get to the mini helmets, we'll talk about some things, because you can remove all that and do some fun things, doing some stuff. So in any case, this is a mini helmet. The typical price for most mini helmets is $31.45 right now. The pricing is guided by Rydell, so retailers have to work within that framework to be able to sell these. And so right now on our site, you'll find these, most of them, for $31.45. There are some, for instance, if this was the other Washington Commanders helmet, the satin maroon one, that one is a little bit more expensive. They do ask for, pricing is $34.45 on the satin maroon Washington mini helmet, which we actually have some over in the corner you might see right over here. Right over there. So in any case, those are a little bit more expensive because of the satin maroon. And then the other, on the NCAA level, the Louisville chrome helmet's still available. There's sometimes with chrome decals, like Purdue had some helmets that were that way, and those will be adjusted based on, so there's some specialty helmets that they do, and the pricing will change a little bit with those. But typically for most mini helmets that are licensed mini helmets coming from Rydell, your average price is going to be around $31.45. Now, Rydell has announced that there will be a new helmet that will be added to the mix as of this summer. We have them now on our site for pre-sale. We do not have all of the images yet, so the images are showing the SpeedFlex helmets, but it is going to be a SpeedFlex model. Again, brand Rydell, SpeedFlex model. It's going to be called a MIDI, so it's a mid-size helmet. And what it's essentially going to be is a helmet that is in between the size of a mini and a replica. So these are about 5 inches tall. It's going to be, I believe, around 8 to 9 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. There are some images out there that you can find of it. And they will be price pointed between getting a mini and getting a replica. So it'll be around $100 is what we're hearing. Those will be available. Rydell is said to that they're going to be shipping those in late July. And so you can order yours now so that it's one of the first ones that we get shipped out. So if you want a midi, you can see the stuff at our website at helmetnation.com. Click onto either the NFL or the NCAA. For the NFL, all 32 teams will be available. For the NCAA, there are 15 teams that are available as of right now for the midi. So in any case, that will be added, and as soon as we can get our hands on one, we'll do another video of that for you. So in any case, that is 4 different types of collectible helmets and the 4 price points for those. Again, you have your mini helmet, usually around $31, $32. You have your Speed replica. Remember, it looks like this on the inside for about $150, $155, somewhere in there. You have your Speed Authentic, which again looks like a real helmet, and it's around $350 typically. And you have the Speed Flex, a different model, again, and this is about $650. So those are the main ones. Let us know if you have questions of what you might have questions about in terms of collecting and how you'd like to do things. Some people like to collect just their teams. So in other words, they might have both of the mini helmets for the Commanders, and then they might have the replica and authentic and the Speed Flex, and then that's their collection, and they set it up in their man cave and it looks great. Other people like to collect conferences, divisions. Maybe if you're a Commanders fan and you want to have something up in your man cave where you have the NFC East division, and so you have a Dallas and a Philly and a Washington. And why is the NFC East eluding me? Dallas, Philly, Washington, crap. I sound like an idiot. In any case, if you want to have the NFC East in there, you can get a division set up and have that. Some people might want the whole set, so you can buy a full set of NFL mini helmets and you'll get all the standard ones. If you'd like to switch one out, you can let us know and we can make that happen. So all of that stuff is available. And like I said, we can help with upgrading your helmet itself by adding different bumpers, different chin straps, different visors. All of that stuff is available. Again, we don't always have it on the website because there's so much variety out there and so many different things available that it's really hard to keep up with it. But that doesn't mean that we can't get it done for you. So in any case, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the follow us. There'll be more videos coming. We'll talk about custom helmets next week, and we'll get into how these 4 models can become customs for something you want to do, what is possible and what restrictions there are, things that we might not be able to accomplish. We'll cover all that and everything else. So in any case, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.